Hi, I'm Daniel Andrews, owner and creator of the DAN Show, and welcome to my latest 2022 NFL preview video. Today, I'm going to break down the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but if this is your first time here and you like football, hit that subscribe button. Join the growing community of football junkies and fans of all 32 fan bases. Now, here's how my videos work. I'm going to give you 3 things I like about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Then I'm going to follow up with 3 things I don't like. Then I'm going to go over the schedule, preview the yearly win total odds, and at the very end, I'm going to let you know if I'm going to put action down on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So let's kick this off. 3 things I like about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The first thing is obvious. It's Tom Brady, and you can argue whether he is the greatest quarterback of all time or isn't the greatest quarterback of all time, but if you made a list of all-time great quarterbacks and he isn't in your top 5, your list is invalid. You have the guy who's won more games than any other quarterback in NFL history going around for one more season. Supposedly, I think there is a chance he could play beyond 2022, but it looks like this is going to be his last go around. So bet against him at your own risk. I mean, I can kind of go on and on about Tom Brady, but if you're watching this video, you'll probably already know everything there is to know about Tom Brady. So I'm going to just end it there. The second thing I like about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is their linebackers. Shaquille Barrett and Devin White went to the Pro Bowl, and I can argue both these guys are vastly underrated. Devin White's only 24, and he might be getting better. I remember at the Combine he ran a 4.41, and I've seen guys that run fast 40 times at the Combine, but they don't play that fast. Devin White plays that fast. He can outrun a lot of wide receivers. And this guy can do everything. He can blitz, he can cover, but unlike most guys that are fast linebackers, he's exceptionally physical. I think that this is a top 5 linebacker, and even though he's only entering year 4, this guy is going to be Canton bound. Like this guy is going to be one of the greatest of all time. He will be in the Hall of Fame someday. And then you also have Shaquille Barrett coming over to Tampa Bay in 2019. He's had 37.5 sacks, and his game's awesome. Not only is he an elite pass rusher, he's also excellent against the run. It's kind of rare that you have a guy who rushes the passer as well as Shaquille Barrett, who also stuffs the run. He can do both. Vastly underrated player. Opposite him this year is going to be Joe Tyron. He was first round pick in 2021, and he's going to replace JPP, which unfortunately, Father Time's undefeated, and JPP's play really kind of declined. Joe Tyron, in significantly less playing time last year, actually had more sacks than JPP, so you're going to put him opposite Shaquille Barrett, and I think the pass rush will actually get better. And then on the other inside linebacker position, Levante David. Now, he turns 33 in January. He's kind of slowed down a little bit. Now, he's still better than most, but this is a guy who went to several Pro Bowls early in his career, always had 100 tackles. I think last year he had 97 tackles. It was his first time in like 5 years he didn't have 100 tackles. I think his play's just slowed down just a little bit, but is he better than most? Yes. Every NFL team that runs a 3-4 defense, Tampa Bay has the best linebackers for every team that runs a 3-4 type of defense. That's just my opinion, but if you can name me 4 linebackers better, I'd be interested to see it. And the third thing I like about Tampa Bay is their skill position talent on offense. I'm going to start with Mike Evans. I remember when Johnny Manziel won the Heisman, I remember watching Texas A&M and thinking that Mike Evans was going to be a better pro, and just having a huge man crush on him. And then once he entered the league, I thought it was just a matter of time before he became the best wide receiver in the National Football League, but it never really happened. But I just saw a statistic recently where he's the first receiver in NFL history to start his career with 8 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. And over the last 2 years with Tom Brady, his targets and receptions have dipped, but his touchdowns are an all-time high. He's only went over 10 touchdown catches twice in his career. And then with Brady, he had a career high 2 years ago with 13, and they beat it last year with 14 touchdowns. He may not get 1,000 yards receiving for a 9th consecutive year, but I fully expect him to go over 10 touchdowns again. You have Chris Godwin on the other side. He actually led the team in receptions and yards. And then they signed Russell Gage and Julio Jones during the offseason. Gage was actually really productive. I think he'll be the number 3 receiver during the regular season. He had 66 catches, 770 yards, and 4 touchdowns last year. But come playoff time, I expect the future Hall of Famer and Julio Jones to get a lot more targets. And then Leonard Fournette is one of my all-time favorite players. I think he could have an expanded role this year. He was actually third in receptions. He had 69 receptions, and he led the team in rushing attempts, yards, and touchdowns. He had a combined 249 touches for 1,266 yards and 10 touchdowns. He might need to expand on that this year. I think this is easily a top 10 skill position group, maybe top 5. Bottom line, if you go into the playoffs and all these skill position guys are healthy, you don't want to play this team. Just to recap the 3 things I like about Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tom Brady, the best 3-4 linebacking unit in the NFL, an elite skill position talent. Now, 3 things I don't like about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. First thing I don't like about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is the head coaching change. And I thought when Bruce Arians won the Super Bowl, he entered the Hall of Fame conversation. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be a Hall of Famer, but I think he now has to be considered as a Hall of Fame coach. So you have Todd Bowles that takes over as the new head coach in 4 years with the Jets. Now, he got a bad deal with the Jets. There was a lot of problems that he couldn't really overcome, but his record in 4 years is 24-40. In his last 3 years, all of them were double-digit losing seasons. So hopefully the effect of the head coaching change is minimal, but it is something to be considered because this is a Super Bowl or bust team. The second thing I don't like about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is the offensive line injuries. As I'm making this video, we're not even finished with preseason, and all 3 of your interior starting linemen from last year are gone. Now, Ali Marpet retired, but they ended up trading for Shaq Mason, so kind of a wash there. But your Pro Bowl center goes down, and I did some research, and there's conflicting news. He's going to miss a few months, but he may be back during the regular season. Then your starting guard, Aaron Stinney, went down. He's gone for the whole year. So, I mean, you have 2 starting offensive linemen go down. We're not even finished with preseason. Your interior 3 from last year is all gone. This is a real bad sign considering your quarterback is 45 years old. The third thing I don't like about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is their secondary. Now, again, this is Super Bowl or bust. So if this team wasn't a Super Bowl or bust situation, I wouldn't have this many concerns. Now, I love Antoine Winfield. He's their Pro Bowl safety. I'm not talking about Antoine Winfield, but the other starters have significant questions about. Now, they did sign Keanu Neal and Logan Ryan, but I went to the Bucs site. Neither one of these guys are slated to start. They're just veteran backups, which is good. But they re-signed Carlton Davis to a big contract this offseason, but you have Sean Murphy-Bunting and Jamal Dean, the Bucs' 2nd and 3rd round picks in the 2019 year, and they didn't re-sign any one of these guys to a long-term deal this offseason. Basically, their 4-year contracts are going to expire, and they're kind of good with that. Now, it could be good or bad because it's good because you got to prove it, but it's also bad because they don't have a lot of faith and confidence in either one of these guys. Now, teams didn't run the ball against Tampa Bay last year. No team had fewer rushing attempts against them than Tampa Bay, but no team threw the ball more than teams did against Tampa Bay, and that's good and bad. Mainly because last year Tampa Bay had 6 wins by 20 or more points, so teams that were behind, they kind of abandoned the run. Part of it is that you could throw against Tampa Bay. If you look at both the regular and postseason losses to the Rams, Matthew Stafford lit up this team. He had, in the regular season, 27 out 38 for 343 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. In the postseason, 28 out 38, 366 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Both games outperformed Brady. So don't worry about the corner position. I kind of worry about that. You get older safeties to help you out, but this is a glaring weakness on the Bucs team I really don't think that they addressed in this offseason. Oh, by the way, how did Cooper Kupp do? 9 catches, 96 yards, 2 touchdowns in the regular season. 9 catches, 183 yards, 1 touchdown in the postseason, but don't worry about your corners. So just to recap the 3 things I don't like about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the new head coach, the offensive line injuries, and I have concerns about the secondary. Now I'm going to go over the schedule, reveal the yearly win total odds, and I'm going to let you know if I'm putting action down on the Bucs. A little fun fact, since Tom Brady's joined the Bucs, he's 0-4 against the Saints during the regular season. So I'm kind of assuming that they're going to be 1-1 this year. That's just kind of my guess. But, I mean, don't get me wrong, the Saints may be able to sweep them for 3 consecutive years. One thing I like about Tampa Bay's schedule is that all their most difficult games, now this is judging from the 2021 results, Tampa Bay hosts all those teams except for San Francisco. They do travel to San Francisco. But bottom line, Green Bay, Kansas City, the Los Angeles Rams, and Cincinnati, all of these teams travel to Tampa Bay, and they were 7-1 last year at home, so I do think that they have a home field advantage. Now, I like them to win week 1, even though it's in Dallas. I do like that game. I do question whether they're going to win both, hosting Kansas City and Green Bay weeks 3 and 4. I could see one of those games being a loss. Week 8 against Baltimore, it's a Thursday night game, something Brady's kind of famously struggled on. However, they do get a few extra days rest before they host the Rams week 9. Bottom line, I think they win the Rams game. Week 8 could be a loss. Last year, they lost after the bye. They lost to Washington, a team that they probably should beat. This year, after the bye, they travel to Cleveland. The way I understand it is Deshaun Watson's suspension ends after this game, so this will be the final game before they transition over to Deshaun Watson. I love the fact that they get a late season bye. I think for a veteran team like this, it's a big advantage. So then you play the Saints on Monday night, week 13. And then after that game, you get 3 out of their next 5 games. 3 of their final 5 games are on the road. You have tough road games with San Francisco and Arizona. In between those 2 tough road games, you host Cincinnati. That could be a really fun game. And then the final 2 weeks of the season, you have Carolina and you travel to Atlanta. Now, I understand Atlanta is a divisional opponent, but I would be beyond shocked if they didn't win both of these games. And keep in mind, they could be resting starters week 18, but let's just call both of these games wins. Now, here's what I look at as possible losses. One against the Saints, and then early in the year, Green Bay or Kansas City. I don't think they lose both of these games, but I could see a loss here. Maybe Baltimore on Thursday Night Football. And then after the bye, I don't see them losing both on the road at San Francisco and at Arizona, but I could see one of those games being a loss. So here's the drill. The yearly win total odds are 11.5. Both Barstool and Caesars have a plus 110. And part of the reason why the number's favorable is because of the injuries and some of the offseason stuff with the Buccaneers. But I fully suggest that you take advantage of this because I really think that you could win 12 or 13 games again this year. And bottom line, bet against Brady at your own risk. Now, I'm not 100% on board betting on the Bucs, but I am leaning that way. Now, keep in mind, this is my opinion, but I really want to hear from you. How will the Tampa Bay Buccaneers do in 2022? Drop a comment below. Let's talk football. Now, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Like the video, give me a thumbs up, and ring the bell. That way you're notified every time I come out with a new video. Tomorrow, I'm going to go preview the Green Bay Packers. So I will see you tomorrow.